ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Welcome back to NECC Rocket League. My name is Bass from the Past, and joined alongside me, it's a bit of an unfamiliar face. It's been quite some time. Emminik, welcome back to the booth, my friend. We haven't seen you since the Fusion tournament, but finally, we get to see you and hear your voice in Rocket League again.
A phenomenal pleasure to be back, my guy. Happy to be joining you on the desk and be talking about some highly competitive flying Rocket League once again. Let's go.
Absolutely. And we're going to be finishing off the night as well. This is our last game for the day, and it is a banger indeed. UC Davis versus CSUDH, West Coast Division 2, our Challengers Division. This is going to be a battle as both of these squads come in at 2-2. And well, it looks like we're just going to get right to it. No pre-warm-up, nothing about that. The teams have hit the field. And I think, oh wait, no, they might be delaying for at least a second. Doesn't look like everybody's ready. They gave us a little bit of a scare. But both of these squads, as we were saying, are very, very ready to play here tonight. They come in at 2-2. Both of them really do want to put on the best performance possible. Emminik, what are you hoping to see out of this very first game?
Aggressive rotations on offense. I think we want to like, okay, we know that we are late in the evening. We know things are getting difficult, but like, let's get some high flying, fast, aggressive rotations. We found ourselves with a strong kickoff for the blue squad. UC Davis opening well. A demolition here in the corner reverses field, and everything is coming back up towards mid lane. Pushed back, or mid lane. I'm talking league. Towards the middle of the pitch. A reversal here from Ajbor. Pronounce that name for me once.
I am not exactly sure which player you're talking about. You might be talking about Alistair when reading it a little bit wrong. Speaking of Alistair, yeah, perfect timing as CSUDH will put in their first.
A phenomenal assist here. Tom catches the ball just a little too high. Maybe a misplay, maybe just a really good rotation out of the side of the orange team. We find ourselves back onto the kickoff here. Pushing forward, Trangor wins the side for the Blues team. BT is able to follow up on this one. We stall out a little bit at mid lane, then push into the offensive side of the zone for the orange side.
We find ourselves here. CSUDH can't quite do much with this one, though. They're trying to get this out from midfield, but over and over again, we kind of see this stalemate. Neither team really doing much as it stands. It's kind of just a back and forth with a random chance. Neither team has a lot of pressure. This could be a chance for CSUDH.
Good offensive rotation here. Trying to clear things out of the corner here. UC Davis is looking to push away. Demolition in the back corner puts themselves in a man advantage, and they get the opportunity to push out towards midfield, and then it's reversed once again. Stalled out in front of the net here. A great defensive play out of Corbier, and we find ourselves stalled against the wall on the mid side. Rotating around towards the left here. Tom is able to make a miss. Small misplay here, corners the ball back over on the side of UC Davis, and we find ourselves on this defensive rotation once again, stalled out in front of the net.
Yeah, over and over again, we kind of just see this. It's a stalemate between both teams. They're not really able to get much together here. I still do feel like we're going to see greater things from these teams as the series goes on. It's game number 1. They're playing a little bit awkwardly, and, well, neither squad really has the chance to sort of shine quite yet. 3 minutes left, though, in game number 1. Plenty of time for these teams to make the necessary adjustments. Oh, but not if you're down by 2. UC Davis gives up another goal as CSUDH will find a little bit of space and a lucky touch here in midfield as no defense was ready in the net.
Absolutely caught off guard here, a little bit over eager that they had finally found themselves on offense. UC Davis leaves open the backside and a reverse from the side of UC. UC Davis loses their reverse, and ends up giving up another goal. Stalled out in front of midfield, we find an offensive push from the blue side. UC Davis finally putting things together here, and then reversed instantly once again. Back up onto the ceiling and into the blue side corner, trying to be dug out by UC Davis. A dangerous pass in front of the center of the goal, and then sent high flying out in front of the net itself. Reversed finally, and UC Davis are clearing. We find ourselves cornered again against the orange side, pushing back out and instantly cleared. I have to say that the defensive opportunities and playmaking ability has been crisp here. UC Davis constantly finding themselves on the back foot. As soon as a positive play is made, they are having to reverse field, go and check their defenses, and get back to their corner rotations.
Yeah, we're seeing the same sort of standard rotations. The issue is that we're not seeing very explosive shots. The offense is kind of lacking here as there's a bit of hesitation that really shouldn't be there. 2 minutes left, plenty of time for UC Davis to try and bring this one back. But as it stands right now, again, look at this. Straight to the middle it goes. No player on UC
Oh.
Davis is diving on that one early. We need to see these players a little bit more aggressive. UC Davis has had opportunities, but they just haven't capitalized. This could be a chance as this one goes into the corner. But again, look at it's just Corbier throwing this to the center where Trengor will not have the shot, but Tom will have the follow-up. Some
Followed up.
awkwardness on the backhand here, and CSUDH finally break.
An excellent touch on the rebound out of Tom. Finds a great opportunity to put UC Davis back onto the board, make this a one-score game. A little over a minute left to play here. This is definitely anybody's game, so long as UC Davis is able to recollect and get that offensive pressure back onto this pitch. Pushing out from midfield after a stall on the kickoff, UC Davis finally find themselves on offense once more. Corbier is able to clear into the corner. We find ourselves in a 2v1 situation here as the ball is centered out towards middle. A good opportunity for Tom, but it is cornered once again. No follow-up from any teammates. We dig ourselves up above the pitch and push things out towards midfield. A dangerous position here, but UC Davis unable to capitalize as Corbier finds himself in the corner with the ball, trying to keep up the offensive pressure. A great follow-up forces the ball into the opposite corner, and we hit the 1 minute mark. Coming out from the side here, Tom is able to, a great defense, sends it back. UC Davis finds themselves in the corner on their own side, trying to clear above their goal here. Apollo making a play, but it is, oh no! Ulster finds the look on the reversal, clearing it through midfield and manages to sneak one right over the top of Tom. Beautiful play.
Not the touch that Trengor was hoping on the backhand there. Unfortunately, as that one's cleared straight out to the center, it's not going to be mistakes like that that go uncapitalized. UC Davis really cannot afford to keep making mistakes like that. CSUDH have proven that they will take advantage every single time, and with only 40 seconds left, I think, unfortunately, that might just be the nail in the coffin. UC Davis do have a chance here on offense if they can get something together, but again, no player jumping on it. They're just giving up too much pressure that they cannot afford to do so. UC Davis have to come into this next game with a little bit more aggression. As it stands right now, this patient and hesitant play is really not helping them.
Perhaps it's in how they rotate towards offense or coming out. Another one goes over to Tom. A great follow-up play here out of that mid-lane push, or mid-pitch push here. Tom manages to just float this right over the top there and make this a one-score game. There is 13 seconds left on the clock. It's not totally impossible, but I think UC Davis needs to start looking forward to the next game. CSUDH, an excellent opening in this first match. Off of the sidewall, we hit the 10-second counter. We are on offense here for CSUDH, looking to see if they can't extend the lead again, but Apollo forces us into the corner and then up into the ceiling, and that will be game one going to CSUDH.
They did a good job of holding down when they had to there. UC Davis definitely started to get their footing towards the second half of that game. But again, CSUDH really just locked down the back half so much that there weren't very many opportunities. There were definitely chances for UC Davis to bring that one through, but just never really jumped on said opportunities and did much with them. I think that we can see a very different team in the second game out of UC Davis. If they're just a little bit speedier, if they're just jumping a little bit quicker on everything, I think they will have a shot here. But if they continue to play with this little bit of back and forth, neither team really getting the momentum, neither team really getting their footing and their sort of flow correct, I think it's kind of just going to be more or less random chance. So CSUDH definitely play well as they stand right now, but we need to see one of these two teams start to try and control the pace of play here.
Absolutely, especially on that offensive side of the ball for UC Davis. Tom's aggression was really showing up, but he was really the only one there making aggressive opportunities happen for the side of UC Davis. Ulster and Apollo working really well together on the offensive side of the ball to keep pressure in those corners. And I would love to see some sort of similar offensive structure or strategy out of the side of UC Davis to try to match that pressure.
Yeah, we'd love to see that. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing we want to see is a good series between the two of these teams. As we mentioned, they're both 2-2. They come into this one with an even record. So this is an important game. This sort of separates yourself from the other people, and your pack starts putting one team towards a positive record for the rest of the season at 3-2 versus the other one at 2-3, which, you drop underneath 500. So again, very important series for both of these players and for both of these teams, excuse me. But it's going to kind of come down to how we see these adaptations. Game number one, not nearly speedy enough out of UC Davis, but I don't expect that to continue. Game number 2 just about underway here. Let's see if UC Davis can make the necessary adjustments.
Tom with an excellent clear one, but countered by Apollo, forced right out over the top of the net here. Rotated back by Corbier and then pushed out of the blue side. UC Davis making an offensive pressure here that is stalled out at midfield. Eventually pulled up the sidewall here by Ganber BT, who forces this floater towards the net and is countered excellently by UC Davis. Ulster finds it in the sidewall, and Tom is looking to clear here, unable to force it towards the goal, but eventually we stall this out onto CSUDH's side. And we have some offensive opportunities out of UC Davis here. Let's see what they can do with this pressure. Forcing the ball back into the corner here. Ulster is able to clear, and pressure disappears. A floater going over the... Oh, excellent follow-up here by Ganberept?
This is Ganber.
He's silent B? Ganber BT, thank you.
Yeah, there we
Ganber BT, excellent name. Great follow-up. I'm going to call him BT. BT is great. Let's go with BT. UC Davis ends up winning the second kickoff after that first goal. 4 minutes, 10 seconds left remaining on the clock, and find an excellent opportunity out in center field, right in front of the net here. Cleared by UC Davis and forced forward by Corbier. Tom is trying to dig it out of his own side and manages to do so. We force ourselves onto CSUDH's corner here, riding the sidewall. A bit of a stall at midfield, and then reversed back towards the UC Davis side. An excellent opportunity out in front of the net. No. Pushed just to the side by Tom, who was able to clear out of the side corner and force this back to the reverse side of the pitch. Taken away out of some sneaky little bumper shenanigans here. And a great shot from Apollo. Scores that one, making this a 2-point game. CSUDH climbing forward in the standings, saying last game was close, but there wasn't... But it's not who we are.
Yeah, so far this has been CSUDH all game number 2 here. All of a sudden, UC Davis don't look like they can really keep up at all. Maybe it's just the momentum from game number 1 starting to translate into game number 2 here, but unfortunately, it's not something UC Davis can afford. They lose this one, they are going to be against an opponent on game point, which would have the chance of sweeping them. We have got to see a different play style here out of UC Davis. It is just not effective. And again, the aggression is a good idea, but you got to be in the right place at the right time. A misrotation is going to leave UC Davis in an awkward position. Maybe they can now try and win with this one as they get a good dunk here. Corbier can't really do much with it, though. So Tom has to throw it into the backboard. Trengor in the midfield, but not quite able to get that one through. BT gets the save, and back and forth we go. CSUDH showing that they don't only have a solid offense, they've got a solid defense to boot as well.
Forcing this one up the sidewall. Tom is now in hot pursuit as the ball is reversed field back onto the UC Davis side. Cleared out by Trengor, who is pushing this one midfield, but ends up getting it stolen off of an excellent touch and then forced back towards midfield once again. Corbier is trying to funnel this back into the positive side of the pitch for himself, and Trengor is able to follow up, but a great rotation out of CSUDH, and we clear once more. Tom forces back into the corner, and things have stalled out here as we cross the 2-minute 20-second mark just about. Floating high and away from the net, and then bounce back towards the UC Davis side. A great opportunity for Apollo, who forces his back out towards midfield. Ooh, a good look here, unable to be followed up necessarily by the CSUDH side. But BT is looking to clear, followed closely by Tom. Excellent defensive positioning out of Apollo once again. Forces this back up the sidewall, out in front of the net, dangerously, but ends up just being cornered once more. We rotate fields and reverse ourselves once again as UC Davis find themselves on defense. CSUDH pushing one more time towards that back corner, but cleared excellently by Tom. Apollo just trying to stall time, make things happen. A good floating off of the sidewall there, but ends up being interrupted, and Corbier is able to collect and clear. We find ourselves reversing once more as the mid-game has stalled down to the 1-minute 20-second mark. A dangerous position here out in front of the UC Davis net, unable to be capitalized on by anybody from CUDH. And now we find ourselves in a small standstill once again on the UC Davis side of the ball.
It's just been this way most of this game, unfortunately, for UC Davis. It's been awkward plays where they can't really get something together. I really do think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that they've lost a little bit of confidence after game number 1. They've got to try and shake that off, take a deep breath, and go into the next game of this series with a little bit of a more steady mindset, because right now it's panic touches after panic touches. And, well, you can see exactly what I mean by that. Own goal from UC Davis, and really just based on the way they were playing on the defense, this was bound to happen at some point. UC Davis need to take a second, calm down, and try and recenter themselves on defense.
Absolutely, Bass. This is a mental reset moment. 46 seconds left on the clock. UC Davis managed to win the kickoff and force into the CSUDH side of the pitch, but it is reversed by Apollo and forced all the way back to the opposite corner. Tom tries to get it clear here, bounced off of the wall towards the net, and then off of the backboard and back into the corner. Looking to rotate in to try to finish this one off as Apollo, but just a little off on that touch, and Tom is able to clear a high floater just off of the backboard of the CSUDH side, and we find ourselves reversing back towards the midfield pitch here. Excellent offensive rotations off of UC Davis are starting to pile up. We're getting a little bit of pressure here, but it really does feel like the panic touches took over here as we find ourselves in the last 5 seconds of game 2. BT trying to force this one back down in front of the net, but ultimately we'll just run out of time. Tom gets the final touch off of the wall. Ulster ends up forcing it into the floor, and CSUDH take game 2 in a dominant fashion.
In dominant fashion, to say the least here. This was ridiculous. CSUDH just continually pressed on offense there. Really didn't give many opportunities to UC Davis. I know we said that the first game there weren't many opportunities for UC Davis, but this game, even less. 2 total shots throughout the entire game. That is less than half of what their opponents had. This is just really not a doable scenario for UC Davis if they continue to play how they play. The defense was fine for UC Davis, minus a couple of errors, but really that defense doesn't matter if they can't translate that into an efficient offense. We need to see better counterattacks. We need to see speedier plays. We need to see UC Davis really recenter themselves, take that positives that we saw from game number 1 and work on them rather than completely redesigning like they did in game number 2, because this new sort of rotation just isn't working out correctly.
I think you said it excellently earlier in the match. You could sort of feel the panic touches coming through, and absolutely as we come into game 3, it is time for a mental reset. Time to put up or shut up, see if we can't get a reverse sweep out of UC Davis and set ourselves into a true series against CSUDH. Game 3 on the line. Teams are loading in momentarily, and we'll be kicking this one off. Any final thoughts or things you might like to see out of UC Davis?
I mean, we just got to see them play with a little bit more of an all-field presence. They either get locked into their own half and become fully defensive, or they get locked into offense and become fully offensive, and then leave themselves into bad positions on the back half. So we have got to see a completely different UC Davis team here. I think that they can do so, but as you said, now it's time for them to show it. Game number 3 underway, and unfortunately, it looks like CSUDH will be the first ones to attack.
Keeping up the pressure, we find ourselves in the UC Davis corner of the pitch here. Apollo clearing out, and with reverse field as Corbier is able to get a nice carry off the sidewall. Bouncing this one into the CSUDH corner. Tom is there to respond with a great shot on net, and he finds the corner. What a bounce!
There it is. Finally, we see some aggression out of UC Davis here. It's a double commit, which is probably not the greatest thing ever, but hey, just getting that weight off your shoulders, getting yourself with a mental reset to feel like, hey, we can win this one is absolutely key. Only 20 seconds into game number 3, but you can tell the light is back for UC Davis. Question is whether or not they can capitalize upon that and keep the scoring a flowing. Good shot by Trengor. Better save out of Apollo. But as we can tell, UC Davis have come here to play in game number 3.
The monkey is off their back, and for the first time in this series, UC Davis has a lead and is looking to keep the pressure up. Some aggression off of the backside leads a man-up scenario for UC Davis, and they are able to clear out of their... Oh, no! A reverse by Apollo forces this one off of the back wall. Cleared to the side, and there is no response. Ulster is there, just a little late, though, to force that one into the net. Ultimately gets reversed again, and Tom is able to clear over into the side corner here. We find ourselves in CSUDH's back corner, trying to get it clear here. Ulster is looking to push this one up the sidewall and manages to do so. Responded by UC Davis and forced out towards midfield. Responded again by Tom, forcing it back into the opposite corner for CSUDH. Offensive pressure here out of UC Davis is paying off. Tom with an excellent position here, trying to force this one in. No, a bad touch bounces this one directly around, and Corbier is able to force this back up into the corner. Oh, a dangerous look, but defended excellently, and UC Davis managed to reverse field, cornering this once again against CSUDH, and we stall all the way down to the 3-minute 20 mark, almost halfway through this game. BT is able to force this one out towards middle field. Ooh, a good opportunity here, but not necessarily followed up on. Tom manages to force this one back up into the center field here, and we find ourselves cornered once again. CSUDH is playing more defense this game than they had in either previous match, and it is absolutely keeping them on the back foot. UC Davis finally finding pressure. Whoa, a dangerous look opportunity here. Ulster doing his very best to get to that ball. A demolition out in the center field. Tom racing to get back in front of it to see if he can't stay in position. Great defense, though, out of UC Davis. Reverses field, and we find ourselves on offense once again.
Back and forth and back and forth. The question will be, is there a chance for CSUDH to try and break through here? The early goal from UC Davis has proven pretty difficult to mount from here on out. Only 2.5 minutes left, but CSUDH will find a way. Gonberet gonna put this one through after a phenomenal pass out of Alistair.
Absolutely phenomenal. No boost left on Corbier to respond to that shot. Tied up 1-1. 2 minutes left in the series. Truly any team's game here. UC Davis doing their best to stay in this series, and CSUDH looking to make a statement 3-0. As we find ourselves riding the sidewall, leaving the UC Davis side of the pitch towards CSUDH's goal here. Solo and alone, Corbier is forced it into the corner. Tom follows up, but now we have everybody on the offensive side. Ooh, a great save. It prevents this from being a man-down scenario on defense. UC Davis find the offensive opportunity, and Tom is able to rotate into the corner here. Followed up by Trangor, who centers this one, but there isn't necessarily a UC Davis player ready to respond to this. Tom a little off on his prediction there as the ball crosses center field. Good defense out of CSUDH is managed to stall out whatever offensive pressure UC Davis had been mounting in the first half of this match. Ooh, a great opportunity there, unable to be capitalized on. Corbier falling back now into his own corner. UC Davis doing their best to clear this one quickly. They have a man-up scenario here, and a good opportunity. No, great defense out of CSUDH. Ulster looking to clear this one, and does. Apollo finds the center field. A great look on net. Saved by Tom. What a look here. A lucky bounce off the sidewall means that Corbier is able to clear this one all the way back out to midfield. We hit the 1 minute mark, and we are still tied up 1-1 in game 3. Trangor forcing this one.
This one's been extremely tense back and forth. Neither team has really had much budging room here. They don't have time to breathe and really think about the saves that they're making or the touches that they're making. It really is still this sort of panic play from both teams, but luckily for UC Davis, they've at least been able to figure out how to read through it. Oh, wait, maybe I spoke too soon. Tom has to make a last-second save, but it's not going to be the end of the offense quite yet. CSUDH want to finish this one in 3. They'd like to keep this here in regulation. Gonberet going to try with this one. Pops it off the wall. A chance. This one high. Ulster straight to the middle. Corbier has a chance but can't quite do much with it. A lackluster save is going to lead to even more CSUDH offense, but Apollo can't slot that one in. It has been all offense for CSUDH for the last 30 seconds, but can they get this done in regulation? One last attempt here, but no, it will hit the ground. Overtime, game number 3. UC Davis fighting for their right now. If they lose this, they will be swept in a heartbreaking defeat.
Corbier finds himself in his own defensive corner, manages to clear out towards middle field, answered by All-Star as a defensive play is made by Tom into the corner, forcing it back out. BT finds an excellent bounce, but there is no response. All-Star out of position means that, a great look from Apollo, who had just respawned after being demoed in front of the net. A flying ball just out in front of the goal. No! There is no look here. Apollo has to reset and clear this one from his own defensive zone as UC Davis is pushing out on offense. Tom manages to rebound this back into the CSUDH corner, and we find ourselves all tied up in overtime. Ball stalled out at midfield. A great look from BT. What a bounce. Oh, he's got it. That'll do. CSUDH in overtime. Sweep UC Davis. 3 games to nothing.
What a 50-50 out at midfield. BT just slams this one home, says you will get no offensive pressure. How about we just clear this one out to an open net? My, oh my, CSUDH continuing to impress even in the most tense game of this series. Again, UC Davis, I mean, hey, that was definitely their most impressive games. They really kept that one close, but unfortunately, it's one defensive error. No one is home as it's a too early challenge out at midfield, and CSUDH will take full advantage of it. My, oh my. That is just, it's an unfortunate ending for UC Davis, to say the least.
A heartbreaker, Bass. But at the same time, you got to give them credit where credit is due. They woke up in game 3. They put on the offensive pressure. They fought for 5 minutes, tied 1-1, basically a 0-0 sum game. Comes down to one goal in overtime. Uh, they did not go down without a fight. Got to hand it to UC Davis there. But CSUDH came ready to play from game 1. They had excellent offensive pressure and rotations, keeping UC Davis on the back foot, especially on their own defensive zone. There was no hesitation on their clears and rotations there either. Phenomenal play out of CSUDH to get a solid 3-0 here against UC Davis.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a very well-deserved win for CSUDH here. They really did play well, and they deserved the win that they got. UC Davis definitely played well as well, but unfortunately, CSUDH just got better and better as the series went on, and even when the pressure was high, they were able to figure a way out through the UC Davis defense. Really well done all around, honestly. There's not much else to say besides that for CSUDH. I'm just very excited for the fact that, we got to see a very strong team versus another very strong team, but they actually made the adjustments to keep it tense. Would I've liked to have seen it gone to game 5? Yes, always love to see the series go that far, but a very intense game number 3, and what a way to finish the night here, Emminik.
Absolutely. That last minute and a half, 2 minutes was just nothing but reactionary play, straight to the ball, straight to the rotations, like uh high stakes Rocket League for sure. If you had to pick any moment, both teams playing desperate, just trying to make sure that they close it where they can or fight for their lives in this series. Happy to see this, especially as the last game of the day. What a way to close it out.
Absolutely. And at that will be the last of it for tonight. Thank you, everybody who stuck around for all of the matches we had here today. It was an absolute blast to be able to open it as well as close it here. Thank you, Emminik, for stepping in the booth with me, my friend. I greatly appreciate you coming through and helping me close out the night. But that will be that. Thank you, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. We appreciate you guys sticking around. Make sure to stick around because we've got a couple of people who'd like to speak to you. A couple of our partners would love to give you a quick little read before we head on out. But for myself, Bass on the Pass, for Emminik, for everybody behind the scenes, shout out to Caleb Glooby and to Jacob Van Ryan, our commissioner, or our director of esports, and our commissioner, for everybody behind the scenes, as well as Patrick Makofi. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of people, so I will stop before I keep going. Thank you to everybody. We're going to head on out for the night. We will see you next time.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
much.